Welcome back. I hope you guys are staying healthy and happy and staying safe. Now that we're transitioning to some online stuff, I'm going to try to do this a little bit differently with some of this stuff and transition, but I need your guys' help and feedback. So if there's anything on here that you're questioning, or if you think there could be an easier way or a better way, and you have suggestions, please let me know, because I'm willing to make changes and I want to make sure this is a helpful learning environment for you and not a stressful one. Okay, with that being said, we're moving on to problem solving with composite figures. If you recall, the 2 days before you left on spring break, you had problem solving with area problems. So you were finding the area of certain shapes by doing base times height or length times width, using those area formulas. Well, in this one, we're using it with composite figures. So we can say with this composite figure here, we can find the answer by doing this problem and breaking it into pieces. So it says area is often one step in solving a real life problem. So we want to find some area here. Well, in this one it says here the side of the barn needs to be painted. Everything, including the barn doors, will be painted. How many gallons of paint are needed to complete the job if a gallon covers 250 square feet? So I need to know how much area is taking up by this space here, because everything's going to be painted. So to do that, I need to break it apart into pieces that I understand, which in this case, I understand that it's a triangle and a rectangle. So from this information, I know that there are some dimensions there. We have a base of 30 for this rectangle and a height of 20 for the rectangle. So I would include that in what I know. I know the rectangle has a base of 30 and a height of 20. So that's 30 feet by 20 feet. Next, the triangle also has a base of 30 because it's the same as the bottom, but it has a height of 8. So I go ahead and include that height of 8. So if I look at this piece of information, I need to find the area of this rectangle, which is going to be base times height, and I need to find the area of this triangle, which is base times height divided by 2. So it says there, what do I need to know? And that's usually the question that's asked. How many gallons of paint are needed to complete the job? So in this case, I want to know how many gallons of paint do I need? To find that out, I start by going through my problem and I write out the pieces. So I'm going to break it apart. I have a rectangle and a triangle. The area formula of a rectangle is base times height. The area formula of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. I take the base and height of the rectangle, which we've already done up here, base and height, and I would go ahead and say this is 30 times 20. And that's going to be the same answer as 3 times 2 with 2 zeros. So 3 times 2 is 6 with 2 zeros. So then I would get 600 feet squared, or square feet. So that means it's going to take 600 square feet to cover just that space. And then the second one, I do the same thing. Area equals base times height, and then we divide by 2. So the base is 30, but the height of this triangle is 8. So I go ahead and put 8 there, and that would be 30 times 8. But since it is a triangle, I have to divide by 2. So if I do 30 times 8 and I divide by 2, I should get an area of 120 feet squared. And then I can go ahead and take this and say that because both of these are being put together, the total area for this shape that we have here would be 600 square feet plus 120 square feet for a grand total of 720 square feet. So if I need to cover up 720 square feet of space here, that means that I have to go back and look and see, well, in this case, 1 gallon covers 250 square feet. Well, if 1 gallon covers 250, I would go ahead and just keep counting by 250. So that would be 250, 500 would be the next one. And then if I added 250 more, that would be 750, which 750 is more than what I need, but it'll cover enough. So if that were the case, then we're going to need 3 gallons. And the reason why we need 3 gallons is because 3 gallons will cover 720 square feet. All right. Next question. In this one, it says there a bedroom 14 feet by 12 feet and a hallway 8 feet by 3 feet are getting new wood flooring. Wood flooring is priced at $6.20 a square foot. How much will it cost to add wood flooring to the home there? Well, this one kind of has a few more pieces, so instead of writing down what we know, I'm just going to go ahead and say see work below. And we're going to make a little picture to kind of clarify what's going on. But I do know what I'm looking for, and that is the cost of the wood for this flooring here. So what's the cost of the wood for the flooring? To do this, it says a bedroom is a 14 by 12, so I do that. I have a bedroom that's 14 by 12, and then I attach a hallway to it. Now these are amazing drawing skills, I know, but even with my amazing skills, we can look and see that this would be our bedroom and that would be our hallway if we were looking at like some plans on a home. And from that, we know that this is 14 feet, and we know that this is 12 feet. And we also know that this hallway is 8 feet by 3 feet. So with that information, I go ahead and take those pieces, and they're both rectangles, so I can use the rectangle formula. And that would be area equals base times height. So I go area equals base times height of the bedroom. And 14 times 12 gives me 168 square feet. And then I do the area of the hallway, which would be area equals 8 times 3, because that's base times height again. And that would be 24 feet squared. So I would then take the area of the bedroom plus the area of the hallway, and that would give me the total area where the wood's going to be going for that wood flooring. And that would give me 192 feet squared. So if I take that information, I can go ahead and figure out how much it's going to cost me, because we know that there's $6.20 a square foot. So I go ahead and include that. So with this one, I take my total cost, I take the price per square foot times the number of square feet that I'm going to be using, and that will give me my total cost. So if I do $6.20 times 192, I get $1,190 and 40 cents. So this right here would be the cost to do that. Now that might be the rough cost. Like we haven't even added in waste maybe, or maybe this price does have that. This is just a rough estimate of what the cost could be to put wood flooring down. So in our solution, we would go ahead and say it'll cost $1,190.40 for the flooring. Next example. It says there, Mrs. Jefferson would like to wallpaper a wall in her guest room. She would like to wallpaper everything but the door. Each roll of wallpaper covers approximately 160 square feet and is $19.85 per roll. How much should Mrs. Jefferson plan to spend on wallpaper? So to do this, we see first off that she wants to cover her wall, which there's a door on this wall, so we don't want to cover that with wallpaper. So we want to avoid that door. And so if we're avoiding that door, that means I need to get rid of that space instead of adding it in like we've normally been doing. So if that's the case, I know that it's $19.85 per roll, and that will cover 160 square feet. What I need to know is I want to know the cost of the wallpaper. So how many rolls am I going to be purchasing to cover all of this? And then what's the cost of that? To start out, I'll draw the picture here, and we're going to go ahead and get rid of this piece here. It's a little cutout. To get rid of that piece, we're going to go ahead and just subtract that area that it takes up. To do that, I know the area of the large rectangle is 18 feet by 12 feet. The area, to find the area of the small one, would be 3 feet by 7 feet. So because these are both rectangles, area formula is base times height. So we're going to go ahead and say area equals base of 18 times the height of 12. And then we're going to go ahead and multiply that to get 216 feet squared. And then the second one is also a rectangle, so we do area equals 3 times 7, and that would be 21 feet squared. And because this one is not included, we want to get rid of it because there's a cutout here. I go ahead and just put those two in my total, but instead of adding them together, I'm going to subtract them to get rid of that door. So 216 minus 21, and that'll give me 195 feet squared. At first glance, we would think that's the answer, but if we go back to what we need to know, it says the cost of the wallpaper. I need to cover 195 square feet. Well, in our what we need to know, or what we know, it covers 160 per one roll. Well, that's larger than 160, but it's less than double that. So I'm going to need 2 rolls of wallpaper because that'll cover this amount here. And since I need 2 rolls of wallpaper, we need to go ahead and cover that 195 square feet. Those two rolls, if I were to put them together, I'm going to go ahead and take the price here and times it by 2 or double it. And so if I took $19.85 and I doubled it, I would get $39.70. All right, last example. So here we have a window that has some glass, little glass pieces in it, and the window is a 5 foot by 5 foot, and it has 4 of those square glass pieces. So everything in there but the glass is going to be painted, and we want to know how many square feet will be painted. Well, again, this one has some pieces that are missing. We're going to get rid of those window pieces because we're not going to be painting those. We're just going to be painting the wood frame here. So if that were the case, we know that the window is a 5 by 5. And each glass piece is a 2 by 2, but there's 4 of them. So because we know there are 4 pieces that are 2 by 2, we're just going to times our answer by 4 once we find the first one. And what we need to know is how many square feet will be painted. So our plan for work, the shape of this, it's a square. So that's just base times height. So the window here would be 5 times 5. And the area of 5 times 5 is equal to 25 feet squared. The glass is also square. It's a 2 by 2. So I go ahead and put the glass in here. And I'm going to say area equals 2 times 2. And that would give me an area of 4 feet squared. But remember, there are 4 identical pieces of glass. So that means I'm going to take that answer and times it by 4 to get 16 square feet. So again, I found one of the pieces of glass, and there are 4 that are identical, so I took this answer and times it by 4 to get 16 square feet. And then we go ahead and take our final answer here, saying the area of the window that it takes up minus the area of the glass, because we're not painting the glass. That'll tell us how much square feet will be painted. So I go ahead and say total area equals 25 square feet minus 16 square feet for a grand total of 9 square feet. So if I were painting this window, I'm going to need to paint 9 square feet of the frame there. Okay, I hope this was helpful for you. Make sure you summarize your thoughts on this and kind of think about it. And when you're answering this, please let me know if you have any questions or if there was any confusion on how to submit this assignment. We are transitioning onto this new online portion, and so there could be some questions on how to get some stuff done. Feel free to reach out and let me know, and we'll have a weekly meeting to where you guys can meet up with me online to discuss some of these changes and maybe have some future editions that will be a little bit easier to work with. So I'm open to change, and I want to make sure that everything's helpful for you guys. It just depends on what we can do to make it meaningful and helpful. Okay, have a great day and stay healthy.